What is going on? We are live. Welcome to another episode of the Unblinded Real Raw. My name's Fernando. I'm excited to be here once again because this is like happening. We are seeing people over and over. It is routine. We have second comers, third comers, people from our movement here. And thank you, all of you, for watching. And if you're wondering, what is this? What's the Real Raw? Why does this guy have so much energy? Why is his hair all over the place? None of that matters. What really matters is what's going to happen here. This is what's going to happen. We have a 60-minute experience where for the first half, we're going to show what it looks like to truly build rapport with amazing people. Think of it as like a dinner with like intimate people where a few things are going to happen because heart-centered influencers gather here on The Real Raw. That's the first half. The second half, we're going to kick it into what's known as an influence off, where we have two contestants that are going to have 6 minutes to go from hello to yes on something that is meaningful for them. And then we have a couple assessors that are going to see how they're doing. All of this wrapped with fun, energy, and love. And the hostess with the mostest, the gentleman that created and founded this formula, Sean Callaghy. What say you, sir?
What say me is I'm super thankful to have an amazing group of people here today. Massively grateful. Crystal Robinson from the WNBA, a rock star of rock stars on the huddle this morning, just truly inspirational, talking about real issues of racial inequality and bias and leadership and humility and confidence. And it was a phenomenal morning. And you know what I'm present to as well, team and everybody out there, thank you so much for being here on this Fun Friday, is perhaps like, have you guys ever heard of Ron John Surf Shop? Like Ron John Surf Shop? Yeah. So where do you guys think Ron John Surf Shops originate from? Like where did it start?
Malibu.
Malibu, that's one yes. And what else do we have?
Hawaii.
Hawaii, another guess. Anybody else?
Jersey Shore.
Boom! Yeah.
Jersey.
No way.
Jersey.
Look it up right now. Look it up right now because Ron John is my shirt for today. My surfboard comes from Ron John, and it is the almost original shop because the original shop was just off of Long Beach Island coming out of a garage, but the original shop was on Long Beach Island. And there's like the whole story and the whole deal, which I've known forever. And it's like the most underrated, misunderstood place in the entire world, the Jersey Shore. I am present to that because, and that's like related to something we're talking about here, which is that often we don't see what we don't see. And we kind of think it's one way and it's a different way with an opportunity to create massive acceleration. And in this space of the Unblinded Real Raw, it's talking about the unlocking of influence as a superpower. Influence as a superpower, which is what creates the likes of like Oprah Winfrey and Barack Obama and Donald Trump, like him or not, like these people have influence and that's how they got there. Now, integrity-based, heart-centered influence from our estimation always beats darkness with masterful skills. So like that's what it's about. And Vivian, your energy, first of all, Fernando, thank you. And by the way, Fernando, I honor and deeply appreciate your romantic nature. I might have some myself. I just question the fact that since the book is like the 5 love languages and it says like to rank them in hierarchy and your claim is that they all matter to you equally. That's just like weird to me. That's all I'm saying. I love you.
Wait, I want a clear distortion. That is not what I said. I said I love all of them. I do love them all.
Didn't you hear Fernando said that he's like all 5 love languages equally? Pull his mic, microphone in stage, control the remote control. I love you, Fernando. I'm totally teasing you. I know you love it. Yes. So Vivian, what's happening? Love you, Fernando.
Well, the situation here is...
I like that. Look at that. Vivian dropping in with some Jersey Shore, like double entendre reference.
We got Brian Gallant in his car all the way from London, Ontario, Canada, with beautiful weather. He's a business owner, a golf professional, and he's a commercial real estate owner. And he's involved in the world of Tony Robbins and the Unblinded team. Welcome, Brian.
Glad to be here today. It's a pleasure.
Brian, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks, Sean. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, and forgive our little bit of fun, over-the-top energy. It's been a long week, brother, and we're just having a little fun unwinding on a Friday. So it's a little different energy today, but thank you for being here.
Oh, the energy, I love it. It's making me feel great. I'm in the right place. I'm feeling truly grateful.
Oh, thanks, Brian. Awesome. Vivian?
We have Christopher Salem with the hashtag Grateful Black Tea and a fabulous background. Woo-hoo-hoo! Rock that tea. Christopher Salem is an executive coach for entrepreneurs, business leaders, sales professionals, and companies to build and protect their brands by raising their level of influence as trusted advisors to maximize their results. Chris is also an accomplished corporate trainer, world-class speaker, award-winning author, certified mindset expert, radio show host, and media personality, and a wellness advocate. His book, Master Your Inner Critic, Resolve the Root Cause, Create Prosperity, addresses this and became an international bestseller in 2016. He co-authored as well recently, in addition of the Mastering the Art of Success with Jack Canfield. His weekly radio show, Sustainable Success, is part of the Voice America Influencers channel. So welcome, Christopher Salem.
Vivian, I mean, you are a natural born presenter, man. I'll tell you, that was the best intro I've ever had.
So, Christopher, wouldn't you like to have Vivian like on the road with you?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
When people are like, yeah, Christopher's here. He wrote a book and he's like really smart. Yeah, hey, let's hear it for Christopher. I'm like, where's Vivian now? Christopher, it's a pleasure to have you here, brother. Where are you coming in from today?
From Connecticut.
Awesome. And Brian, where are you today?
I'm in London, Ontario, Canada.
Ontario. Very cool. So Brian, Christopher, again, welcome. And boom, Vivian, who else we got? We got some amazing judges.
Oh my gosh, we do. We have the sweetest person I know so far lately outside of Fernando, named Andres Rivera Hurtado, all the way from Puerto Rico, Bayamon.
Wait, you call Fernando sweet? Like, this is getting crazy. You call Fernando sweet?
Hey, listen, there was like a second. It got cut off. Vivian, what was that?
I said you're sweet.
Thank you. Thank you for shedding truth. Okay, I'll go back to being serious. See, Vivian embarrassed me earlier, so I gotta get my
suck up sycophant. Yes, thank you. So go ahead, Vivian. Yes.
Sycophant, you've got my heart. Sean, I love you already. Well, you, Andres, have been born and raised in Puerto Rico, and Spanish is your first language. You're passionate about doing the right thing and helping the Hispanic community know what they don't know. You are unblinding, I see. Creator of podcast Frecuencia de Abundancia, which means frequency of abundance, creating awareness on how to use the power we have within us to grab control of our lives and design it the way we truly want it. So welcome, Andres.
Andres, how are you, brother?
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for that. I'm doing great. Thank you, Sean. Unexpected appearance here at The Real Raw. You cannot say no. So I'm super excited to be here and be as a judge, being a participant myself, and going from being a student, then being a participant a couple of times, and now here as a judge. It's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Well, welcome, brother.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. And you,
thank you.
You're in Puerto Rico today?
I am. Yes, I live here. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I thought. I just didn't know if you had traveled at all. So how are things there, by the way? Are you still in lockdown or not in lockdown?
No, things open back up. We have a curfew at 10 o'clock that nobody follows because it's just Puerto Rico. But everything's back to normal. Yeah, things with social distancing and whatnot. But yeah, everything's back up and running. Beaches are open, so it's open for business and everything else. Pleasure, having fun. Fun Friday mood.
Awesome. And Culebra is one of, to me, the coolest destinations for scuba diving I've ever been to. So I've been and almost died there. Longer story for a different day, but it's a beautiful place.
Just dropped that.
Yeah, Culebra, best
I
beach.
almost died there.
It is. A story for another day, but yeah, it's amazing.
So in the water, not like in, it was a crazy situation. So Vivian, who else we got?
And fun fact,
yes,
Andres has committed to translating the formula into Spanish for everyone that doesn't know. That is insanely meaningful. I am Colombian myself, so I just want to publicly announce this, brother. You are doing it. We are locking arms. Back to you, Vivian.
Yeah,
maybe if you need help with the voiceover or
te llamamos. We're gonna call you.
You already know that it's gonna be you, Vivian.
Hablaremos.
Andres, thank you for coming along, because Fernando has been telling me he's gonna do that for a year and a half. So thank you for finally getting that done. I really appreciate it. He's
well,
so Vivian,
things just happen at the right time.
Thank you.
So
yeah.
we have.
Hey, by the way, can you introduce The Real Raw? Are you up for that? Lead into Vivian. Do you think you could do that role? Yes, Vivian, thank you.
Bienvenidos al Real Raw. Well, we have to come up with a translation.
We gotta work on it.
Yeah. I'm sure
Crudo
we
en
can- we come
español
up
isn't
with
the
it.
right
We
word
can-
right now.
Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, al otro episodio. Okay, I'm done. All right, back to you, Vivian.
We'll work on this. We have Robert Solomon, and you know him, Sean. He is with you at Caligula Law Business Litigation. He was part of the 2016 verdict with Sean that resulted in the 75th largest jury verdict in America. He has, through 2 letters and a phone call using Sean's influence skills that he's adopting, obtained a 250% increase in a settlement for over $5 million. And he has a cute little puppy named Marla.
You heard the
Thank
dog.
you, Vivian. It's
So
like Zeus energy, goddess energy.
What's up,
Which one
Robert?
of you is Robert?
Oh,
What?
Rick.
Which one of you is Robert?
That's me. Hey, Rick.
Oh,
We
man.
only spoke over the phone, so it's good to
Yeah,
see you.
listen, by the way, I wouldn't want to go up against him, especially when he's doing research, okay?
Thank you very much, Rick. I appreciate that.
I don't know where you got it from. Definitely not Sean.
And not my God. That was all me, buddy.
So, Robert, what's present for you, brother?
Let's see. It's obviously Friday. Looking forward to this amazing weekend. I was actually, as you know, over at Michael Smikin's house earlier today. First time I saw Michael Smikin, the partner of the litigation department, in over 3 months. So just felt really grateful to have a quote unquote, although he hates the term boss, that, invites you over to his home, makes sure, obviously you're safe during this very turbulent time. And just really excited to see this Real Raw.
Awesome. And yeah, so just, we get into it in a little bit. You could feel free to share some insider secrets and moments of things that you've seen with the formula on display. So feel free to be wide open in the Real Raw. We are real and raw here.
Excellent.
All right. And Vivian, like the rock star, a brother, a friend, a genius, in fact, an icon in the space of like everything personal development and success. Who do we have?
We have, we have 2 more people. We have Robert Randnotti as the role player, and we have Rick Teed in from Connecticut.
Yes, I'm talking about, Robert, we're talking about my brother Rick. So
Oh, okay.
Where
I
are you
wasn't
from in
so sure.
Connecticut? I'm from Connecticut too.
Me? Actually, I live in San Francisco.
Okay.
But 25 years ago, I lived in that dreadful existence. And I say that because, I can tell you this. You want to stay young, move to California. All of you, Sean, Robert. I mean, I don't want to pay the taxes here, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather pay taxes and live young, because the weather, when I was going there last time, I'm driving down the highway and there's sheets of ice and I'm like going, am I going to get killed here? It doesn't happen in California. We get earthquake stuff.
I
Makes
lived
up for
for
it, I
10
guess.
years, but we love our East Coast, don't we, Sean? Don't we East Coasters in the house? We love our East
we gotta
Coast.
get Rick Teed surfing and LBI. We got to get
By
that.
the way, one thing, all you East Coasters realize one thing, you move to California and it'll take you it took me probably a dozen years to adjust to the pace, because I'm like expecting things up early, getting shit done. And it doesn't happen like that out here. It's like a foreign country. So, you got to kind of either slow down or be very tolerant.
Yeah. Hey, so Rick, let's get Rick intro in a second, Vivian, but since we're here already. So Rick, I just want to make one request. Will you please join me in the ocean body surfing at Tony Robbins' house the weekend after next? Like, will you come in the ocean? Like when everybody else is doing like yoga and meditating in the backyard, will you come in the ocean with me and do some body surfing? It would be my honor.
Oh yeah. And by the way, I would do it in 2 seconds if I come.
Oh no.
So there's a chance I won't be there, and I'll postpone it for next year.
Oh no.
I know. It's
Well,
like, I got too many of my, we'll talk about it after. But I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
if I'm there, because I'm still on the fence.
You need to go because I want a video because this sounds exciting.
Yes. We have-
What, me riding on top of Sean's shoulder on top of like one of those blow up like serpents in the ocean? We can do that.
Right. So can you please,
Now I really have to see that.
Like I'm afraid of the ocean, so my feet are dangling around Sean's like, ears like, save me.
so Rick, how about this? So we're going to intro Rick in a second, and we're having a load of fun. Thank you guys for the beautiful energy today. So we were at Tony's house last year. Chris Crone, one of the other Lions, went into Tony's plunge pool. You know, like Tony Robbins, like super cold plunge pool. Chris Crone broke at least the Lions record for the longest in the plunge pool. The dude was in the plunge pool for 12 minutes. 12.
Wow.
Like Chris was like purple. Did you know that was happening, Rick?
So you know what happened is I was going against what's his name, the tall guy from he lives in Dubai. He was the first time.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. So Thaddeus, and I was teasing Thaddeus. So I was in there first, and I'd do it for 2 minutes. And then I got in there at 4 minutes, and I was trying to get to 6 minutes, and I think I fell 30 seconds short. And that was just unthinkable. And Thaddeus was laughing, goes, "I'm going to beat you." He goes in there for like 7 minutes, and then Crone goes, "I'm going in, and no one's going to catch me." And so and then Thaddeus went back in. I think he went up to 9 or 10 minutes. But, you know, they had to worry about Crone after because he couldn't even get into the regular pool because that would have burned his skin. You remember this?
I do. It was crazy. And like, you know, Praveen was like, "Chris, brother," like in the Praveen, like in goddess energy state, like, "Chris, brother, you can't be risking your life in Tony's backyard." It was unbelievable. I still laugh about that entire story. So
Yes.
Competition gets you.
yes.
Rick
So
Teed is
what's Rick's background, Vivian?
Yes, he's a real estate advisor in the San Francisco and Marin area. Originally got into real estate as a developer of luxury high-end properties and is a top producing real estate agent in the luxury lifestyle sector. His motto is to bridge the gap to possibilities. And he's an active factoid, because it's not necessarily a fun factoid, but it could be, is that he competes in triathlon. So welcome, Rick.
And Rick, you've been listed, brother, in it was the Wall Street Journal. What was the?
I was #1 in the nation for Sotheby's.
Yeah, #1 in the nation for Sotheby's. Amazing. So, Rick Teed, ladies and gentlemen.
Zero marketing. Zero.
If you want to,
I like to hear that.
How do you do it? You provide more value than anybody else possibly can or cares to do.
There you go. Trusted
Cares
advisor.
to do is because I believe that somebody probably could. I just don't know how they would do it. But you know what? I leave it out there not to be so arrogant.
Yeah. So love you, brother, and thank you for being here. So Vivian.
Our role player is Robert Radnotti. Woo! From Jersey. He's a professional life coach at Radnotti Research Institute. He is always peppy. He's right in front of me smiling. Anyway, he coaches clients on 2 key strategies: the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. In this way, they get to live a legendary life. He's also a certified master hypnotherapist.
Oh.
A chemical engineer who worked for Exxon for 25 years, a senior leader with Tony Robbins, a former head coach of men's and women's track and field and cross-county teams at Pepperdine University in Malibu. And he loves to help people live rad and make each day the best day ever. For he believes that having fun and loving is contagious, and I agree. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Icon amongst icons. And Robert, I had so much fun in our Donald Trump dynamic the other day. That was really cool.
It was fun.
So perhaps we'll see something like that today. So Robert,
absolutely will.
And so I was when last we encountered each other, I was in northern New Jersey, but now I can't see, but I presume you're by the ocean at home.
Yep, the ocean's right there.
Well, I just came out of the ocean a short time ago, so I feel our connection in the oceans of the world. So welcome.
There you go.
Awesome. So yes, I think let's go. Christopher and Brian. Christopher and Brian, are you guys familiar with the format? Or do you have
Wait, yeah, give me a little back, because I've the only roles I've played since being on are been as a judge. So this will be my first time doing it as now the person presenting, so to speak. So let me know what you want me to present to and that type of thing.
Awesome. And I'm going to get an exact number, but we have to be in the 80s already in terms of our Real Raw. And thank you and everybody for watching. And we've been having a ton of fun. So thank you guys. So yes, we are 2 3-minute segments. The first segment is about creating a connection at a deep level with Robert, emotional rapport, opening, listening, and putting something at stake, right? That's it. And then about 3 minutes in, I'm gonna be like, hey, Rob, you got a phone call in like 10 seconds. Hey, I gotta take a quick phone call. I'll be right back. There's no need to set up the second half in the first segment. There's no need to even frame what you're talking about, right? In terms of business or whatever you're gonna discuss. And Robert could be anybody you want. Robert had some fun the other day and had the role player be Donald Trump. So you can have the role player be anybody about anything that's a big and important yes to you in the world, or it could be like a yes you kind of like half care about. It's your time, right? Your space, and we're here just exploring influence. And but you could also have it should be like your services. You could have it be a book deal, a contribution, anything you want. And the second segment, 3 minutes, is going to be about you solving for either yourself, your products, your services, your combined dynamic and heroic unique identity, solving for what was at stake in round one. And then a yes, whatever the yes is about. And remember, it's not a rush. It's not a sale. Like in that 6 minutes, you could be seeking just a longer meeting. It's like, hey, Rick's there and he encounters Tony Robbins at a basketball game out in California. He's like, hey, Tony, I want to talk to you about something real quick, which Tony loves Rick, but like he's busy and it's like things are going on. So what would one have to say to somebody in a quick intersection, right, to have them really listening, experiencing, and, you know, being present to move to a yes to whatever that is that you want to talk about next, or just the ultimate yes you're seeking. So Christopher and Brian, any questions on that?
No, good. So we can just choose what we want Robert to play as a role. Okay, got it.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. We're here not to demonstrate slick salesmanship. In fact, it's the opposite. You know, in the space of integrity-based, heart-centered influence, it's as important to know like when to say no as it is when to say yes. So we're here to really just demonstrate what authentic integrity-based influence looks like and to explore its parameters. That's what we're doing. So thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna go under the desk right now. Let's go with Brian. How about you, Brian? Do you think it's a 1 or a 2 that I have here under the desk?
I'm going to say it's 1.
It is a 2. Okay. So Christopher, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first. It's fine.
Cool. Okay. So Christopher, who would you like Robert to be?
Well, I'd like Robert to be a business owner, and I guess it doesn't really matter what, you know, the business is on some level. Well, if we have to pick something, just to say it's a service-based business, and he's been in business for, let's say, 5 years.
Awesome. All right. So you ready to drop in?
Yeah.
All right. So, and is this a scheduled call? Like you guys encountered each other before and scheduled call or no?
Oh, okay. You want me to pick that then? I'll just say that we've scheduled a call, and then this is our first kind of get together.
Cool. All right. Christopher, take us in.
Hey, good afternoon, Robert. How's things going?
Awesome. Things couldn't be much better.
Well, Robert, I want to thank you personally again for taking the time to meet with me today. I know things have been quite busy during these turbulent times. And again, thank you for meeting me. So I wanted to, first find out how things going with you personally now during these turbulent times we're in.
You know, it couldn't have been better. I was planning on traveling around the world and I had to stay here, and some magical things have happened over the last 2.5 months. So it's good for me.
Well, great. It sounds like I can tell you have a smile on your face. And so in a way there was like, I can relate to you that, we were living in such a busy world that now we had a chance to really take things simple again and really get close to what's really more important in our lives. So how important is harmony to you?
Harmony?
In life and work.
In life and work, it's amazing. Balance between life and work is important to me, yes.
That's great. So what are some of the things you could tell me? I'd be curious to know, so we find out some more information. What are some of the things that you do to, achieve harmony in your life and business?
Well, right now it's truthfully, it's living on the beach. I during this time period, I moved right on the beach. So I've got my deck right there and can fish off it into the ocean. So, with Zoom opening up, I could do all my services from right here. So it's harmony I didn't plan on it. It just happened.
Well, I love it. I love it. Well, I can relate to you. I don't live on the beach, but I can relate to the fact that living on the beach brings you peace and joy and puts you into a frame of mind that allows you to have that clarity. Would it be safe to say that that would be the case?
For sure, yeah.
That's great. Well, if I were just to ask you, based upon, first of all, I want to, say it's wonderful to see that you have a smile on your face and things are going well and that you are seeing the opportunities disguised in these turbulent times of where we're at. I'd like to ask you right now within your business, what is working very well in your service business and what could be better?
Well, right now, we weren't sure how this was going to work. So we sent all our employees back home to work from home. We've got an electrical engineering consulting service business. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen because we service public utilities. And I was thinking that work would go down. But honestly, work has come up. And so the biggest challenge has really been making sure that we have enough people to keep up with the work right now.
Wow. So that's great. So we kind of have the opposite effect at what's happened here. So I guess there was no need for PPP, I guess, in your business.
Well, those first few days there was, although we didn't really know what that meant. But everyone's home and safe, and we're taking good care of our employees. So that's a good thing.
Great. Well, that's great to hear. So what could be something right now that things are going well that could even be better moving forward in this post-COVID environment?
Yeah, it's really recruitment of professional engineers that have experience in power engineering. We're just having a hard time finding that. And if we do, even scheduling an interview with them is a little bit challenging because you really got to make sure you pick the right people for your company.
That's very, very important. So what are some of the things that you're doing to facilitate the process of aligning the right people, and what's the criteria that's important to you?
Well, we haven't actually picked anyone. So right now, we're trying to keep up with the work. But in kind of thinking forward, if we're going to be in this for very long, we're going to have to do that. So our typical ways is just to advertise through the professional magazines and then invite them here to our offices. And so I guess we're going to invite them here to our Zoom meetings.
Wow, that's fabulous. So if there was a way that, from your end of it, that you could attract the right types of people based upon similar synergies, values, skill sets, and all that. What were some things that you would be looking at, think that could facilitate that for you?
I kind of clarified that question. I'm not sure.
So, in terms of what could you be doing from your side to attract these types of engineers that maybe have similar synergies, skill sets, and values that would align with the environment in your service business?
Well, I think that's where I'm not sure how we're going to do it, because we invite them into our company here. We meet together. We're like a family business. We just have 42 employees, and it's just, we built this culture where you got to fit within the family, and then of course be sharp in power engineering to be able to help us there. But that culture fit is really important to us, and I'm just not sure how that's going to work with this Zoom kind of environment.
Well, that's great. Well, then, like I said, we're all learning new concepts and new ways to do things, and we're all in the same area, so I can relate to you there. Well, I wanted to ask you if you were,
Robert, you got to grab a quick call. You can come back in a few minutes, but in like 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, Christopher, I got another call.
Absolutely.
I'll get back with you in just a little bit.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you. So excellent stuff. How did that feel for you, Christopher?
It felt good. Robert was the dialogue was very good. Kind of really addressed the questions, kept the flow going. And the next step was to, look and see if he would be open to a recommendation. And again, I'm not making an offer, but I'm asking his permission for a recommendation to talk about certain things that he could do to attract the right types of people that align with the culture of his organization.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, Brian, who would you like Robert to be?
Robert's going to be a business owner around the age of 50, a small team that in part of his business, he takes his clients out and closes a lot of deals on the golf course, uses golf as the environment to be able to spend several hours with his clients. And he's at the current stage, he's not enjoying those experiences because he feels a little down because his performance isn't too high on the golf course at this time, which is frustrating to him because he's pretty successful in business.
All right, you ready to take us in?
Ready to go.
All right. Take us in, Brian.
Robert, appreciate you reaching out to me. I look really forward to having this conversation today, followed up on our email together and scheduling this call. Just with this interesting time going on, you know, where are you at personally in your business at this time?
Well, you know, things are going okay, but, you know, it's been challenging because I haven't been able to get on the golf course as much. And, you know, I'm spraying the ball all over the place. I haven't been practicing enough.
Yeah, so when hey man, I can relate to that. My game's a little bit scratchy too. My question for you is, when you go out there and you're spraying the ball, how's that making you feel about playing the game and just for yourself at this time?
Well, you know, I really enjoy the game of golf, and we do a lot of business there. And I just get concerned that if I'm not playing well, that a potential client might think that reflects upon my business too, and it really doesn't. But you know, that mindset, sometimes it jumps up there, and even someone like me goes, uh-oh, maybe I'm not good enough.
I myself, in my world of business, I can feel the same way. So I really relate to that for you. I guess my question is when you've been sick, what has worked in your game that makes you feel really good when you go out with players and some of your clients?
I guess what works is when I'm not really thinking about it, when I'm just naturally, authentically just playing golf or closing deals, when I'm just kind of in that zone. And maybe with what's happening in the world right now, I've kind of been knocked out of that zone a little bit.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, that share. I really do, because I can relate to, I have the same type of thing where I've had to go a little bit different and pivot a few things in my business. So I really appreciate that share. In terms of what's not working, you mentioned like you're spraying the ball. Is there other parts that aren't quite working for you that's keeping that confidence a little low?
You mean on golf or in the business?
Yeah, in golf first, and then we'll talk business. You can
Okay.
relate to both.
Well, in golf, I guess my putting's going pretty good. Chipping's not too bad. It's you know, it's really off the tee box. I'm just wanting to kill it. And you know, I keep thinking, it's been a while now. I'm in my 50s and I haven't gotten a hole in one yet. And you know, as you know, the hole is the goal. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I can appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely found it a little bit frustrating as well. Personally, I've struggled off the tee with a big stick and had to gear back a little bit myself. And so when you mentioned that you feel uncomfortable a little bit going on the golf course with people, so just where are you at with business in what's been successful on the course where you've been able to close deals? Share one of those experiences with me.
Well, I think when the folks with me are feeling comfortable and they're not so worried about wearing their mask and stuff. I was with a foursome the other day, and everyone had their mask on, and I had to put my mask on. I don't think I could breathe with that stupid mask. But they were pretty paranoid, and I think that just really kind of messed me up. So it's really when we're kind of back to normal that I'm feeling a lot better.
Excellent. Oh, I get that. So I guess my question for you is where would you like to see the game go so you can get a little bit more confident? Is it mostly that tee game, or is there something else like mentally that you'd like to think that you can take to the next level?
Well, as you probably know, that once you get the long game good, then something else goes, you know, a little bit haywire. So I'd like to get to that point where everything's going well all at the same time.
Excellent. Outstanding. I guess what I would recommend is maybe figuring out a time where we could have a little bit more discussion and follow up about a little different way of seeing the game and scoring a little better, and potentially using a little different approach off the tee. Is that something you could be interested in?
Yeah, maybe. Let me think about it. I've got another phone call I got to get back with you on.
Sure, no problem. I'll reach out to you again. That sounds great. I appreciate your time today, Robert, very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. So, Robert, if you had one word for each encounter, just like how it felt, how'd you feel with Christopher?
With Christopher, it felt kind of pretty serious. So I wanted to make sure that I was matching him in sort of that seriousness. And then it popped up one of the businesses I'm involved with. And so it felt kind of nice so that we can kind of go in the right direction with him. Cool. And so it felt comfortable.
Cool. And how about with Brian?
And with Brian, it felt a little bit more playful because it seemed like he wanted to talk about golf. I wasn't sure if that's exactly what we were going to do because there's the business and the golf side. So I wanted to kind of, again, match his where he was at and be a little bit playful with that one too.
All right. Awesome. Very good. So let's take it. Let's start with Robert Solomon. Robert, what say you, brother? Go maybe 30 seconds of feedback, 30 to 45 for each person. 15 to 20 seconds on what worked, 15 to 20 seconds on any growth opportunity, and please take it from there.
All right, sure. So Christopher, I thought your power of asking questions was off the charts great. I think they were genuine. They came across authentic. So I think the questions that you were asking to find out, obviously, what challenges Robert had in his business was great. I think a little bit of room for growth opportunity is level 5 listening. Robert, early on in the conversation, said the past 2.5 months have been magical. He used that word magical. And I think that could have been an opportunity for you to say magical. Wow, that's obviously a very powerful word. What's been so magical? So I think kind of exploring that. You were like at a level 4 listening. Obviously, you have 3 minutes to do this, but I think maybe a little bit of growth opportunity there. For Brian, I think also a power of asking questions was good. Acknowledgement was there. You were definitely acknowledging everything he was saying. But also, I would say level 5 listening as well. There was one point where Robert was saying he was on the golf course, he was wearing a mask, and it was obviously very frustrating because he couldn't really breathe wearing a mask. And you went, okay, excellent. So just kind of maybe also listening to what they're saying. And of course, he was sharing a good time that he had on the golf course, but he was expressing a frustration he was having, and you responded, okay, excellent, and moved on to something else. So I would say both of you guys, good acknowledgement, good power of asking questions, both just need a little bit more on level 5 listening.
Excellent. Great job, Robert. And maybe when we come back in a little bit after in the scoring of the next round, contemplate, Robert, a little bit about how you'd share some things that you've seen in the courtroom of people who are allegedly like world-class and maybe not coming from integrity-based human influence. And when integrity-based human influence meets it, like what does that look like and what happens, right? When people think that they're the highest level of influence. So, and quickly, I'm sorry, the scores one more time. What'd you have for Christopher and Brian?
It's 1 out of 10.
Yes.
I would give Christopher an 8 and Brian a 7. So close, right. But Christopher, yeah.
The one and only Rick Teed. What say you, sir?
Okay, thank you. We'll start with Christopher. And I think, and again, I wasn't right because now we went on to Robert. There was a way you respond after you get an answer, Christopher. You used it 2 or 3 times the exact same. It might be a little bit of variety, might help a little bit. So I would say whether you're saying excellent or awesome or whatever it is, because what I notice is, and it really comes into to Robert, but I'm going to stick with Christopher, is that a person who's receiving is on the other side of this wants to be heard, and not like I asked a question like I'm trying to get somewhere, and as long as you say something, you already know what you're going to say next, and therefore it's like a blow off response, like awesome, excellent, yeah, that's all. You know what I mean? You got to kind of stop and acknowledge. I think you did a great job, but you did repeat something, and again, it's my fault for not taking notes. There was some response that you repeated twice about you and your business. I know you know what I'm talking about because I see you nodding your head. There was something that you brought up twice, and I'm so sorry. Sean could probably tell you what it is because he's got photographic memory. but I would say that, you know, 8 or 9, your cadence was really good, and it matched Robert's, which I thought was great. And it did seem like you were getting somewhere. The point was you were on track to set up the sale. And so for that, I'm going to say 8, 8.5. But be careful on. See, we're all so salesy. This is so. I think it's so important because I do this too, and I have to catch myself. Is I'm asking people questions, and then I know what the next question I'm going to ask is. So when they're answering, I might answer quickly. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, great. Yeah, and then it's just like, hey, fuck you. I'm not listening to you. You know what I mean? It's like, I just want your money.
You know, and I agree with Rick, what you're saying totally. I think when you're doing the role play, it's like you go, oh my God, you got 2 or 3 minutes. So you're like,
no question. When you said I'll go first, I said sucker, because you don't have a minute to like 2 or 3 minutes to
facilitate this. Yeah, naturally, I think I would be more engaging but under the time constraint, I didn't know where I had to be.
Oh, that you're on the spot
somewhere.
And you went on, and again, you went on a long time. That had to be like 10 minutes. It wasn't even close to 3. So, yeah. Right. And so, all right. So
I don't know what time it was.
So let's go to Brian.
Yeah.
Is that, Sean, you want to say something? Go for it.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
Okay. So Brian,
you need to remember that it was a couple times. I think Christopher said, like, I can relate to that. I can like he took and I can relate to for my own business. Perhaps instead of going deeper with Robert and being present to Robert, it kind of pull back over here a couple times. That's
right. And it's because I think, you know, saying I relate to something without, you know, giving an example. And again, it's rapport. If you really care. I just had a meeting with a guy, swear to God, he kept leaning forward. He goes, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? And I'm looking at him going, I'm hearing everything you're saying. I've only been to this listing appointment with you 10 times. And I'm like, I heard you the first time, right? And so, and yeah, I had a little bit of like, you know, angst because I didn't feel like dealing with him on the 10th time, but I showed up anyway. So, and now he'll probably give me the freaking listing. Okay. But so let's go to Brian, because I think this is the one where I think I could really be helpful. So Brian, it's a tough one to talk about golf because I'm looking at this and I'm feeling you, and I'm feeling like, okay, where is this guy getting stuck? Is this a business you're in, Brian, by the way?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, where do people congregate on the golf course where they can talk? It's either in that golf cart or they can talk at the tee, but they always got to be kind of quiet. You can talk a little bit when you're putting, right? Or before or after. But when someone's spraying the ball, all you got to do is focus on that one. Okay, if I could teach you how to drive the ball, if I could get that ball straight, and then you get in that cart and then it's a nice conversation, what would that be like? And it's like, you know, it's just getting that relationship because everything seemed, you know what, it seemed sprayed to me because the questions were the same questions kind of, they weren't leading anywhere. And if I'm on the other side of this, I would be like, okay, but what's this call really about? And I know you're probably really good at this, but if I was like in my head, I was breaking it down going, well, if I was golfing and I was having a problem right from the tee, because he said, I'm having a problem driving. That's where I'm spraying the ball. And then the rest of that hole, Robert's insecure, right? Robert, am I correct in this?
Yeah.
You'd be insecure the whole way. And so you want to connect and you want to connect what it is that you're selling. Like, what if I could help you with that so that when you get in that car, now you're leading, you're interpreting like what's going to happen in the future. Your sales will explode if you do this because it's only like 3 or 4 shots. What if I could just take your, you know, you're on a 4 or 5 par, 4 or 5 par and your second shot. What if I could just help you with that shot? And we just break it down into 4 things. How would that help your future? And, you know, like your relationships. I think it would just, it's breaking it down. I've learned this from people like Sean Callaghy. I've learned it because of, and Robert, from the legal side of their business. I think you break things down, it will help tremendously. Fair enough?
So outstanding.
That won't be an endless loop of like asking questions that are really similar. And it's like, I'm relating with this guy. Yeah, I can hear this. And there were a couple of times where he gave a response and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And you moved on. And I know that you got that feedback from the other Robert. And I felt it too. It's hard doing this Real Raw. I've only been a judge. This is my second time, but honestly, if we're conscious, because I know this is about our growth in business and our ability to connect and you know, if we're going to spend our time doing something, I think what also is being said here, and Robert, the attorney, Robert, who's also judging, language, listening to the words they use, because it's kinesthetic, auditory, and
Visual.
and visual, kinesthetic, auditory, right? And if you start to listen to what people are saying, and then you use similar words, and you pay attention to that too, I think they're so critical. And Sean, we've never talked about this because I've watched a couple of these episodes too, and I care about the success of this whole thing. So,
Thank you, brother. Rick, you're amazing. Love you. Thank you.
I hope this is helpful because again,
Absolutely. Thanks.
I don't want to sugarcoat anything with anybody because it's a waste if you do. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's outstanding feedback. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah. Because I would take golf lessons from you in 2 seconds.
Awesome. All right. And how about Andres? What do we have, sir?
Thank you. Yeah, so I had little Wi-Fi problems there, but I was able to hear most of Christopher's and all of Brian, so that was great. So Christopher, I felt that you could feel the desire to help. Like you could feel that you wanted to really get in there and help Robert out, and I was feeling that. You mirrored him very well. I agree with what Robert and Richard were saying in terms of listening. In terms of when you were saying, I can relate to that, validation is very powerful in terms of when they're telling you where they are, and you validate that feeling and you get deeper into them, you know, leading the conversation, not about you, but about them, ultimately leading them where to the yes you're seeking. So that right there was a combination of what you did well and points to improve upon. Shorter questions can be a game changer for you. Instead of asking the long question, you use that technique where you mirror what the person said, ultimately expanding upon a pain or a desire that they have. That's just something that caught my eye in terms of the long repeated questions, and you could see that it caused some confusion with Robert. But ultimately I gave you an 8.5 there. And if we go over to Brian, it was good identifying the pain. You identify that real quick. And for the rest of it, I agree with Richard. I felt lost. Like I was confused about where you were going to take it. If it was, I didn't hear quite well the role that you wanted Robert to play. So maybe, that plays a role in my confusion, but it was towards a validation and listening, and validation and listening were just taking the emotional connection to a whole new level. Because if it was a pain and something that you can solve, it would have been a smooth yes for Robert to say, yeah, when can we talk? I want to work on this. So I gave you a 7.5, right? Because there was that misconnection, you're just not knowing where it was going to go. So that's what I have.
Awesome, Andres. Thank you very much. So yes, I thought excellent job. I concur with the judges' perspectives. Brilliant feedback for today. And yeah, just deeper, like going deeper is a huge access point. Remembering, of course, these are successful people, tremendously successful people. And so we're looking for micro distinctions that make Oprah, and a person who has a beautiful 5-year run in television, just simply not Oprah, right? Those micro distinctions. So excellent work.
Can I say one thing, Sean?
Yes, please.
Because I think we go on to automatic play a lot of times. It's, our lives get busy. We kind of are like, okay, we're doing something else, and all of a sudden we're jumping into a sales call or something. And there's this moment, if you just could have a checklist to just get present, to listen, and to really connect, and also think about the words that are coming at you and how to turn your words into those words back so that you catch yourself, so you're connecting. Because if you use I'm feeling like a bit abandoned right now because I'm stuck at home and I can't go out and play golf. And they use the word feeling. You gotta tap into those feeling words. And there's a lot of them, right? And if you just remind yourself to stay present in advance of a call and have a little checklist, boy, I'll tell you, it could have explosive growth for your business. And I can tell you, I did it for years. I wasn't number one at Sotheby's for no reason, right? It's very difficult to do, especially with zero marketing. And a lot of it had to do with making customers my number one priority and listening to them and delivering. Listening to them and delivering.
Rick Teed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Rick. So, Christopher, you picked first in round one. So that means you actually get to choose in round two if you want to go first or second.
I'll go first again.
Okay. And this is 3 minutes, and we're going to have unique idea. Like, what is the solution now? Like, you put some things at stake in round one.
So are we getting, is this another call or did I wait for him to come back from his call?
You waited for him to come back. You're just continuing the same call.
Okay, got it.
All right. Take us in.
Okay. Hey, Robert, how was your phone call?
It was excellent.
Great. Was it something good news for your business or something personal?
It was kind of personal. It had to do with my golf game.
Wow, great. How's your golf game going?
Pretty good.
Good. Well, great. Well, I can tell you, I can't relate to golf because I'm not a great golfer. I'm one of those people that goes out and just plays to have fun. So I guess golf is something that's important to you.
Maybe, but really my focus has been on trying to find the right professional engineers to come into our business. That's what we were talking about before, right?
Absolutely. So just getting back to that, I can understand that's probably like you got from what you said before that business is going very well. You have the demand for your services, but you just don't have the supply. Would that be correct to say what we talked about earlier?
Yeah. If you could help us with that.
Sure. Well, I'd like to say if you're open for a recommendation, I'd be happy to provide you some information that you might want to think about to see, if this, is something that could work for you, maybe something that, that could help to attract the right types of people to fill that demand.
Yeah. Do you have experience in this new Zoom world? I'm just not that familiar with it. Just learning.
Yeah. I mean, so, when you look at this particular area, a lot of times you've got to go beyond just skills and what's on somebody's resume. You got to really connect with these people, and a lot of times that's through certain things what we call values. So what are important values to you in your business, you personally and in your business?
They would be integrity and honesty and a sense of family and a sense of love and just caring about making life better for the people we're working with.
That's powerful because I can relate to that. I'm a very family-oriented person. Is that really most important, like putting people first?
Yeah, that's the way our family or our business was founded. My father founded this, and it's just everyone's part of the family here. We take care of each other.
Wow, that's great. I mean, that's something I always say that, people are the people you have in your business are the ones that help grow your business and that you can trust based upon integrity. So I think that's so important. Thank you for sharing with that. So what I'd like to share with you today, is some information on some different strategies that you can put into place to kind of take those values and put them out there in a way that would be able to attract people that have similar values that could see your company as a way to grow, utilize their skills, their talents, and to grow professionally. Would that be something that you'd be interested in learning more about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I just don't know how to do this in this new Zoom world. I feel like you have to, be right in front of someone so that you could see them and feel them and just get that energy from them.
Well, I can understand it took me at least about a month or two to adapt to Zoom and learning how to read people's eyes, to look at their body language, because it's a little bit different than being face to face. However, if you're really able to connect with someone and just ask the questions and let them do the talking, over time you're going to get that connection and you're going to be able to flush out those values. What's that?
10 seconds to go.
10 seconds. Great. So at this point, I would just go right into the what we would talk about. So I don't think I can do that in 10 seconds.
Okay. So
Well, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Christopher, excellent work. Brian, you ready?
Ready to go.
All right, take us in.
Hey, Robert. Great talking to you again. How did that phone call go that you had after our first call?
It was great. I got a guy helping me with some things on my business around hiring some new folks, some new professional engineers.
Excellent. So is that expansion of your team?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And will that help you find some more time to get on the golf course with a few more clients?
Yeah, I guess possibly. If we had some more employees, I could get on the golf course.
Excellent. Close a few deals. So I was thinking about what you chatted about earlier. I heard that the driver seems to be that tee shot seems to be the biggest challenge for you. And I'm pretty interested in taking a look at help you potentially find a go-to shot off the tee, because my opinion, my recommendation is if we could get that ball in play more often, would you increase your enjoyment of the
Yeah, for sure. But, I guess I don't know exactly, what's your expertise here? Are you a professional golfer or something?
I'm a PGA golf professional, and I've been able to coach people in person and actually virtually around the world using different technologies. And one of the other things that we focus on is helping people look at the game of golf a little bit different and scoring a little bit different, so they can get those tee shots more in play. Because to me, that seems to be the area that you shared with me that's really affecting your ability to score and have fun and feel comfortable hosting those clients on the golf course. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that you had some expertise in this area, but yeah, I need some help in that. I want to hit the ball straight and far.
Excellent. Outstanding. I think I'm really confident that we could come up with a plan, be able to get that ball and play more off the tee and have you have more enjoyment. From my perspective, what works best for you in terms of setting up a time to get started?
Well, where are you at? I'm here in Malibu, California, and the golf course is about 15 minutes away.
Well, as I mentioned too, I'm international. I'm in Canada. So usually what we would do is figure out a way to set something up using Zoom and do a virtual session with you.
30 seconds.
No, not another Zoom one. I was just telling the other guy, I don't know how this Zoom thing works. I need someone to come in here and tell me how Zoom works so that I can feel you.
20 seconds to go.
In that, I think I'm pretty confident we could figure this out and have some fun. And if it doesn't work for you, I guarantee you that we can make this work for you.
All right, I'll try it.
Thanks, Robert. Look forward to it.
Okay.
All right. Excellent work. Great job, Robert. So, Robert, how did those encounters feel for you?
Well, with Christopher, again, maybe it's not fair, but I was trying to direct this to this Zoom thing, and I guess both of them kind of went in that direction. And I wanted to know sort of what their expertise was, and how they're going to get me to that place. And with Brian in particular, I finally asked, I didn't realize he was a professional golfer, and that kind of changed everything for me, although I wanted him to be right here, not on Zoom. And so I was just sort of being playful too.
I did a great job, brother. And I concur. When you have the expertise, Robert, when you hear Rick Teed is a real estate agent, okay, so how excited are you to talk to Rick if you have a real estate need? How excited are you to talk to, Rick, the real estate agent? Scale 1 to 10. Rick, the real estate agent.
A 10. And he brought that out in his judging. His expertise came out. And I'm sitting there going oh, if I want to do some real estate investing, that's the guy I'm going to without the advertising.
Yes.
I was listening.
Without, number one at Sotheby's without the advertising. Just that frame. Now, all the rest is important, but when you get to delivering who you are, right? Like when and Rick goes, deep rapport, deep listening, feel very connected to Rick. And then you find out, yeah, and he was number one at Sotheby's in the nation with no advertising. It's like, dude, what? Right? So, yeah, I agree. So being a PGA golfer, it's like, whoa, PGA golfer, right? Like I felt that from you, Robert. Yes?
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go reverse order this time. Andres, what do you have, sir?
Okay, all right. So Christopher, I would have loved for you to just go straight in because you knew the pain already, and it was just I would have loved to see you come in with like, this is who I am. Like, this is who I am. This is what I can do for you. Robert was leading you towards it as well. It says like, but wait, like, do you have experience with this or like? And this is where you show your power, where you show who you are and what you can do. Because I feel like he was asking for it from the beginning. It was like, how can you help me? And the yes could have been more towards, instead of like information, it would have been like, let's set up something where we can look and do a deep dive into how we can help you to move this forward onto the next level. So there I gave you an 8 for it. And it's ultimately just putting all things together that we spoke about on the last part of it.
Excellent.
So Brian, again, it's also, it kind of mirrors the conversation with Christopher. Robert had to ask you, but hey, what's your expertise here? And you could have come in hot and say, listen, this is the conversation we had went kind of sideways, but this is who I am. This is how I can help you. And this is where you displayed, you could have taken advantage and be more direct towards who you are and what you could do for him, because you know what you're doing. You're reaching out to him. You know your stuff and how you can help him. It's all a matter of expressing it and leading it towards. Doesn't matter if it's Zoom or not. Like your expertise would speak for itself for Robert to say, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So bumped you up to 8, right? Because you kind of shifted from you moved it towards the yes you wanted, so bumped you up to an 8.
Awesome. So excellent. Rick, what do you have, sir?
Okay, so let's start. Chris, I don't know what business you're in still.
I'm an executive coach. Yeah.
Right. So as an exec, okay, because I wasn't picking up on that in what you were selling. And a couple times, you used I can relate at the end, but you also had teed up your next question. So I would suggest thinking about like, okay, I can relate, or it's interesting because I built my business this way or that way too, so I can completely get it. And what I found was blank. Because to say I can relate is, again, it's a blow off, and it's just a bridge to the next question. Fair enough?
Yep.
And then when you did ask Robert about, what was important to him, you asked what was important to his business, which I understand. However, I think it might be a little more effective to ask him what's most important in his hires. And you're really going to get to the same answer, sort of, because it'll all be about the culture. But it is a higher listening skill to be like, because he's looking to hire these engineers that are going to fit in. And then I would suggest that painting a picture, what if I could help you with hiring these high caliber tech guys by positioning your company as, I got to work for this guy, and how do we get over this Zoom call? What if I could get you over these hurdles right here and make this simple for you so that you could go play golf, or you could have more time with your family, or you could have time to go like hike Mount Everest or whatever. But it's like, you got to paint the picture as to what it is that like, because a lot of times people are going to give you all the information, but like, boy, just tell me, man, if I could just make your world great, what would I be doing? Right. right? It's very, very simple for me to do it because I'm going to tell you, look, move out of your fucking house and I'm going to make your house so unbelievable. I'm going to sell it for $1 million more. It might cost 100 grand. And I'll even lend you the money to prove it. And I'll give you 20 people that'll tell you I did it for them. So it's really quick and easy. And I'm so confident when it comes to that. When it comes to this, you're selling people. You got to give them the future, what it's going to be like working with you. I think it'll help a lot. Sean, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I think I concur. So Christopher, like just really putting, I think it's critically important for all of us when we're engaged in integrity-based influence. There's certainly pain for everybody. Like I have pain, everybody has pain. It's something that they want more of or to shift. So Robert, was there was dynamics, but to really, what I didn't feel was that Robert was put into a position of being like really present, like putting something at stake. We say it's step 2, that he was present to some pain. And then the inability to get past that dynamic wasn't really present for him. Like same thing in golf. It was like, oh, like you're over there, I want Zoom. And he definitely wants to improve his golf game as well. Like, flipping into Brian's scenario and being like, yeah, so super question, Robert. I honor that.
And I'm telling you, he also picked up on, he found the pain. He got to the pain point, right? Which I thought was great. Because, focus on the pain and then how pain to pleasure. It's like, thank you, Tony Robbins, for like making these things clear to me. And by the way, thank you, Sean Callaghan, because Sean Callaghan's has got the greatest listening skills and it's really helped me heighten and expand that. Like, I just think this is brilliant, by the way, guys, like what you're doing here. Because one by one, you're helping people tremendously, Sean. I mean, that's why I'm doing this, because I fully support what you're doing. Can I go on to?
Oh, please, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian. So Brian, it was interesting to me because I also didn't know what you actually did. I assumed that you were a golf coach. I just assumed it, but like, I don't want to assume that. And again, I'll break it down to like, man, if I could change your life, your business in 4 strokes, 4 easy strokes. And then it's like, the minute I get in that golf cart to the first tee, I'm confident I'm going to hit the ball straight. It doesn't have to be the farthest. As long as it's straight and in play, I feel good. And while I'm driving that cart, I'm not the one who's feeling uncomfortable. Then I'm going to take it to the next one. If I could just make you feel good for this next shot here and feel and start, if I could just give you the freedom to flow with your golf game in 4 easy strokes, you are connecting the pain, the problem, what the future could be like, and it says success, and it's a much shorter conversation. And then you're off. You'll do 10 people in the same time you do one, just by asking the right questions.
Appreciate that. That's great. That's great feedback. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I literally was sitting there going, I want to write this for you because I want to see what happens.
Awesome job, Rick. Thank you, brother. Robert, what do you got, sir?
Yeah. So a lot of the same feedback, obviously, as Rick and Andres. Brian, I think for you, the same growth opportunity that everyone else is picking up on is obviously just conveying your unique identity and really owning it. You said you were a PGA golfer. Obviously, I think everyone was somewhat intrigued by that. Like, okay, have you played in tournaments? How did you place? Have you met any famous people? Everything like that. So I think convey your unique identity and conveying with strength would, I think, help you tremendously. So I think that although you did a lot better this time around, I think asking questions, level 5 listening, but definitely conveying your unique identity. Chris, again, same feedback. I still wasn't sure exactly what you did, so conveying your unique identity, but you're definitely great at influence. The one additional thing I would say that I haven't heard from Andres or Rick is maybe just playing with energies a little bit differently. Like, I know when you were asking Robert about values, he said family, and there was another value. And the way he conveyed it was very authentic, and he was definitely feeling it emotionally. And I think maybe dropping down to a very slow, goddess energy, and really, look him in the eye and say, wow, thank you for sharing that with me. And being a lot more heartfelt, I think could have been an additional way to kind of establish emotional rapport. So,
awesome. So thank you, Robert. And quickly, just dropping in, because you've seen some crazy stuff.
mhm.
How would you share, the power of integrity-based influence from your vantage point?
Sure. So the power of it is, you got the 75th largest jury verdict in America, number one in Arizona. So that's the result of it. And I think, it's what you're teaching is not just influence, right? It's integrity-based influence. And the integrity word's not just superfluous. And a story or an example that I saw is, obviously I was with Sean for the really big jury verdict. And there was a time early on in the trial where Sean had to argue kind of this nuanced legal position. And we were on the losing side of that legal position. Nothing to do factually, but had to do with illegally. And Sean, it would have to do with the two standards for breach of fiduciary duty. And Sean, wanting to maintain integrity with the judge, conceded, yes, I understand that there would be a higher standard I need to prove at trial, and I'm conceding, and yes, I now have a bigger burden to show. And because he maintained integrity with the judge, later on in trial, when Sean was cross-examining kind of like this older, frail man, but who did some really evil and he was coming at him hard, yelling at him, you accepted $1 million bribe, you did that, you did this. Because Sean was the beacon of truth and integrity in the room, I don't want to say it played off well, but for lack of a better word, it did play out very well with the judge because he was already seen as the beacon of integrity in the room. The judge picked it up and the jury picked it up, and it resulted in this 75th largest jury verdict in America of that year.
And being one of only two firms to have two top 100 verdicts out of 1.2 million in the country between 2014 and 16. So, the point of all this is integrity-based influence is what reveals truth. And that's what solves big problems like we're facing in the nation today. And it's what solves very practical problems for every person in every day. And my heart is weighed down and aches for the fact that people have so much incredibleness inside of them. And often it doesn't get out and across just because we're not sure how to go from hello to yes with people. And often there's really people doing really bad things or somewhat bad things that we're unable to stop. I say, and we're going to take it home, and thank you guys. I know we're in a little bit long on this fun Friday, but I think one of the greatest, just as a simple example, I think one of the greatest systemic levels, far-reaching systemic levels of corruption in America is in athletic coaching in towns. You're like, what? Yeah, these are public towns, and these are parents that are using public fields and public bodies to support their own children to the detriment of other children unfairly.
I agree with that, Sean, 100%. I've been a athletic youth coach for 7 years, and on the other side of it, meaning that coming from integrity and not doing it in a way to position my authority in the community or position my child for success at the expense of other children. And you see
congratulations on being that person of integrity. So I'm using it as a very basic common example. Sales, marketing, that space, like hello to yes, there's millions of people who are abused and harmed because they don't know how to communicate, and they're afraid to speak up about an issue because then they'll be classified as a troublemaker or a problem. And I'll say it here, my daughter played 4 years of high school. She started as a freshman, had a fantastic career. I mean, she's an absolutely unbelievable player. Never had a question of playing time. But I'll say it here, just speak truth. Her coach should have been fired a long time ago. And that's coming from a dad whose daughter played all the time, got the accolades. It was most successful 4 years in the history of the high school. But the way he treated kids was awful. And it wasn't, my daughter didn't have any uniquely horrible experience, but they just all had a horrible experience because of this person. And the parents were afraid to talk about it. And the parents are afraid to deal with it. And I'm using this as just a very basic personalized example. And across the board, it's how we communicate and find the power to stop what's wrong, like that's another source of integrity-based influence. And maybe some of the reason that people have died at the hands of systemic racism is because other people were afraid to stop some of the things that were happening and to speak up and share. And I have family police officers. I'm not vilifying all police, I'm saying, but there's systemically bad things happening. And how do we shift and stop these things? It's through having the power of integrity-based influence. So, Rick, yes, thank you for that acknowledgement.
I'll tell you something. Both of these guys, Chris, Brian, I would do business with you guys in 2 seconds. I can feel integrity in 2 seconds. I don't know that I could do Christopher any help. Brian, if you ever want to talk, my head was filling up with ideas because I've got friends who were like, one guy was the captain of the Virginia golf team. And I learned so much from him because of his focus. His ability to focus gives him the ability that I see rarely in people, where they just don't explode when there's like issues. They're very calm. And I think the game of golf is a way to teach people both that and, selling in business. And boy, I'll tell you, you could package something that no one's ever done. I just was thinking about this, 4 strokes to success. And it's just, and just lay that category down. There's so much you can do with that. I mean, it would be fun. So if you have any questions, reach out to me anytime.
I will. I appreciate that offer.
If this is something you're focused on like full time, yeah, I mean, it might be fun, because I think there's a lot more to it. I think that, especially in the Tony Robbins world, the quality of content and being able to teach people a couple things as you're teaching them strokes.
Awesome. Awesome, Rick. So Rick Teed, Robert, Andres, Brian, Christopher, and certainly Robert. Thank you guys so much, Vivian and Fernando, for really fun and unique Fun Friday with a little different energy for today, sort of expansive, kind of flowing. But I really appreciated it. I think we unlocked some things today. And thank you, everybody, for your openness, your vulnerability, your candor, and it's an honor. Everybody have a beautiful Fun Friday. God bless. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Sean.
much, everybody.
You guys.